You know, states around the country have tried any number of creative ways to get parents who are behind in child support to pay up. Illinois, for example, puts up this website which shows the worst offenders. Other states seize tax refunds, report the debt to the credit bureaus, or refuse to renew hunting or fishing licenses. But some of these enforcement laws affect the way a parent gets around. Some states are revoking car tags, impounding cars, or requesting that the U.S. State Department deny or suspend that parent's passport. So while no one can deny the importance of obtaining child support payments, could some of these measures have an unintended negative effect? Do measures that potentially contribute to a parent losing their job and with it their income go too far? That's the question for today's stream team. Lisa Bloom, an attorney and author of Think Straight Talk for Women to Stay Smart in a Dumbed-Down World. Hi, Lisa. Robert James is the DeKalb County, Georgia District Attorney, and Glenn Sack is Executive Director of Fathers and Families. And District Attorney, let me begin with you. Your county about to target late parents by having them lose their tags. Why have you come up with this idea?
Well, we have a very serious problem, not just in DeKalb County, but throughout the state of Georgia and, frankly, throughout the nation. And that problem is parents not paying child support. If you look at the facts, we're not dealing with parents that are just a few days late. In our instance, we're dealing with parents who haven't paid in as long as 2 years to never. And it's time for it to stop, and it's time for parents to support their children.
So this is almost a last resort for those truly deadbeats. Let's try to hit him at the car.
This is absolutely a last resort. We've gone through amnesty days. We've gone through hauling these people into court. We've gone through calling their homes, bringing them down, trying to set up payment plans, and they just absolutely will not pay. And children need support.
Glenn, is that a good idea? Go after their cars?
Well, I agree with Robert. Let's look at the facts. The facts are very clear. Overwhelming majority of these parents are not deadbeat, they're dead broke. Federal government's own research shows before the recession, over 2/3 of people behind on their child support earned poverty-level wages. That's before the recession. During the recession, it's gotten far worse because courts and child support enforcement agencies are very slow to give fathers and mothers who are behind on their child support downward modification. So you have people who are being forced to pay child support on an income that they haven't earned for a year, and when they can't afford it, then they get to be called deadbeats and publicly humiliated by programs like this. And a program like this, even for the people that, you know, they're trying their best, perhaps trying to work, trying to get jobs, whatever, and you're taking away their transportation, making it even harder.
Lisa,
you mentioned earlier.
Hold on a second, Lisa. Excuse me, sir. Lisa, I can't believe that the people that the district attorney is going after are trying their best. But I want to ask you if you think this is the right route, because potentially you take away somebody's job. I mean, you take away somebody's car. You could take away their way to get to a job, so they might pay in the future. What's your thought on this?
That's right. Look, children need love and support and attention, but they also need money. Children need shoes and food and tuition, and so child support is very important. I support wage garnishments, I support tax liens, but I don't support this particular proposal because it doesn't make sense to make it more difficult for a parent to get to work. And in most places in this country, you need a car to get to work. We need to help them get to work, help them earn an income, and then garnish those wages, pay them directly to the other parent. It seems to me that's a much more effective way of supporting our kids.
Mr. District Attorney, can you just, without naming a name, give me an idea of the person you're going after and whether or not he fits into this category of somebody he's just really trying to find a job or get work, but he just can't because of the circumstances?
Certainly. We have one parent in particular that is $104,000 behind. That parent has never paid child support. We have offered that parent amnesty on during three different years. We have made phone calls. We have tried to work things out. We have hauled that parent into court.
And does that parent have the ability to pay?
Yes. Yet that parent can pay for gas in their car, which at this point, unfortunately, if you have an SUV, is up to $100.
Hold on a second, sir. Let's let the district attorney talk, and I'll let you respond after. Go ahead.
Is up to $100 filling up. In Georgia, we have a extremely expensive ad valorem tax. That person can renew their tag and pay a lot of money. That person can do everything that they need, but when it comes to supporting the needs of their child, they refuse to do so. And frankly, you know, if you're not using the money from your employment to pay for your child, then I don't have an issue with perhaps interrupting or compromising that employment.
Glenn, let me just ask you, you can say what you want, but hey, man, take a bus, pay up for your kid.
The fact that these guys can scrounge together money to fill up their gas tanks doesn't mean that they have money, enough money to pay whatever the child support order is. I'd ask this gentleman, he says he has a most wanted deadbeat parent list. I've been looking at those lists all over the country. The states, counties do them for years and years. You never find anybody on that list who's got a decent job. They're always day laborers, construction workers, cashiers, roofers, who owe these fantastic sums of money and who we're supposed to believe are these wealthy guys who ran out on their kids and now have the trophy wife and the Porsche.
Well, wait a minute now, wait a minute. There's plenty of day laborers, roofers who are supporting their families, sir. I don't think just because you're poor doesn't mean you're not supporting your family.
What about the single moms?
Of course, but...
Right,
what
the
about
single
the
moms
mothers
are
who are also
supporting...
working lower level jobs, and we're also supporting our families? You know, it doesn't matter if you're working as a cashier or as a laborer, whatever you're doing, you need to support your child, because ultimately if that child grows up in a one-parent household with a very low income, they're not getting the support they're entitled to by both parents.
All right, guys, we got to leave it there. Lisa Bloom, Robert James, Glenn Sachs, thank you so much. Interesting conversation. We probably will get a lot generated on the web and social media about this conversation. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having me.